Hi there, this is Angie Oldenburg. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to the Global Stampin' Up! Vlog Hop. So this month we are focusing on designer series papers. I'm actually incorporating a few different ones, but I'm focusing primarily on Plaid Tidings. So it's all of these really pretty plaid patterns in most of the sampler squares in this home decor project. What we're doing today is an 8x8 home decor piece. It could be hung on the wall or set on a shelf. Hope you enjoy my project, and let's get started. So what we're starting out with is an 8x8 shadow box, and at the big box stores in the US for sure, we can buy these in packs of 3. All you have to do if you've not used one of these before is loosen up these little brackets behind here and pull out the back piece. And so this is the piece that we're going to be using. We're going to set the frame aside. So we're going to work on decorating the back part of the frame. The designer series papers I'm focusing on with our project today is the Plaid Tidings. So it is in the holiday catalog, and just look at the variety in this paper pack. It's a 6x6 paper pack, and there are so many amazing patterns on here. And of course, if you flip them over, there's something else on the other side. So what I did when I was designing this project is I just kind of went through and picked the ones that I felt were most fall-like, and the ones that coordinated with some of the other products that I was going to use. So I'm picking a few products from other suites to use as well. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to show you the pieces that I'm going to use. Actually, I'm going to show you what I'm going to use for the background of it. So if you look on my finished sample, there's a kind of a tile background. These papers are from another paper pack. It's called In Good Taste. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to adhere that right to the backing of this frame. So we're going to just use that. I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus because it is very sticky, and it will make sure that it stays where I want it to go. So pretty easy to do, just adhere it. You could use glue, certainly, if you're more of a glue person. So that's the background. The cardstock squares are 2 1/4 inches by 2 1/4 inches. And then if you want to layer on top of it, it would be 2 inches by 2 inches. And then if you wanted to do a title like I did up here, and then maybe some words or some other imagery down on the bottom, the bigger cardstock pieces are 4 3/4 by 2 1/4, and then the DSP layer on top of that is 2 by 4 1/2 inches. All right, so those are the measurements that you need, and you can certainly design it however you would like. And I decided to put Happy Fall on the top. And so here I'm just going to kind of play with my layering pieces, and this is how I had put it together. I had another piece with the flower from the Celebrate Sunflowers because I like that little flower. Thought I'd put that on a little section. This designer series paper is just a piece from the Gilded Autumn designer series paper. I love the gold accents on there, and then the pumpkins. So just kind of lay that down. And you can, what I did is I kind of fit everything together before I started adhering. So the first thing I'm going to do is this title. First step is just to layer this. Just going to attach these 2 pieces. So I cut these letters out of the Playful Alphabet dies, and I used our new foam adhesive sheets. So they're like our dimensionals, but they come in a sheet. And then all you do is peel up one side, put down all the pieces for my letters, and ran it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss all at one time. And I didn't peel off the adhesive backing because I wanted to save them to adhere everything today. We'll likely speed this up so that you don't have to watch me do this whole thing. have our little title banner. Then I'm going to bring in the full page again, and we can go ahead and I actually didn't stick everything down until I had all of the elements completed, so then I could layer them or space them out equally. So the next thing we'll do is maybe this square here. So again, very easy to do. This one I just stamped 2 of the small daisies from the Daisy Lane stamp set and punched them out with a medium daisy punch. And then to make these look a little bit more dimensional, just kind of curl the petals with the bone folder. And honestly, you wouldn't have to stamp this either, but it just adds a little bit more detail. I'll show you the difference because my initial sample I didn't. So I'm going to just kind of lay those here. We're going to stick, I'm going to move this up. We're going to stick these 2 pieces together. Stampin' Seal Plus is really sticky, so you gotta kind of make sure you've got things down where you wanted. And then I have a piece of the Pretty Peacock Scalloped Linen Trim, it's called. And so this is a bigger piece than we need, and I just wanted it to kind of go around to give it a little bit more interest. And so the one thing I did is I put just a little glue dot here so it would stay down onto the paper. And these are the awesome glue dots we get with the paper pumpkin kits. I use those all the time because they're flat. I use our regular glue dots too, but so I just tack that down in the middle so it stays flat. And then put a little adhesive on the back and wrap it around. I have to trim these. There we go. And then what I did was I just layered the daisies again with a dimension, or not a dimensional, with a glue dot. Put a little glue dot guy on the bottom. Peel that off. And put it down, and then put another one just right over the top so that we make our daisy 2 layers and it looks a little bit more realistic. So you certainly could just leave it as is, but since this is a 3D project and we've got room in the shadow box, this is not going to go in the mail or anything like a card would. I'm going to add a little bling. I'm going to use one of the gilded gems. Tweezers, or the take a pick tool works really well for these too. Alright, so that gives it a little bit of bling. We'll put adhesive on the back here. I was going to wait to adhere everything, so I'm just going to set this aside upside down so that it doesn't get stuck. I was so excited to put something down on the page, but we really should wait. Okay, so the next one, this one is just going to be a plain center, so we can stick these 2 pieces together too. I'm not adding anything else to that square. And this one is similar. I had stamped this sunflower in advance, and that is from the Celebrate Sunflowers set. And maybe I'll put a couple of dimensionals on there to pop it up off the paper. And this paper pack, like I said before, can be used for so many different occasions and events. So you certainly could put this there, we could put it this way. I kind of think I like it that way, but we're gonna just leave it there for right now. So we're gonna do some stamping, and then I'll do this last little wreath last, because that's gonna take the most time. So let's do this little guy. I'm gonna get out my Cajun Craze ink, and I used the pumpkin from this month's paper pumpkin kit. So it's got this little pumpkin, it's got a little witch's hat with a pumpkin on it. It does have the face that you could make it into a jack-o'-lantern. I don't have another pumpkin for this time of year in another stamp set, so I figured I would just use this one. So this little square, of course, is layered on top of those other two, the measurements I gave you earlier. But so this one is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 inches, and it's perfect size for this little pumpkin. So I just stamped him, and then we'll stick them together. Of course, you could certainly, stamp it and then color it in, or put the jack-o'-lantern face on it, whatever you would want to do to kind of brighten it up. I love this whole paper pack, the designer series paper. So the next one we're going to stamp this piece, and that is, I picked a saying from Country Home. So that's this stamp set. And I picked the Simply Thankful for all of the good things. I just love that. Gratitude is extremely important, especially with everything that's going on right now. And I'm going to hopefully not get my head in the way when I'm stamping this. So up a little bit higher than I would usually stamp it, but hard to stamp sometimes on camera. And the other thing I added to this little panel, so we'll stick the designer series paper to the cardstock. Look at that pretty backside of that one. So this is a very neutral palette too for a fall themed. You could pick another color palette that would match your home for sure. Then I just added a little bit of ribbon. So this is actually the Terracotta tile ribbon that comes in a combo pack. It's called the Ornate Garden combo pack. So it comes with the old olive and a terracotta tile. But it, even though this is Cajun Craze cardstock, the other colors that are in here is likely terracotta tile. So it coordinates really, really well. So again, I'm just going to kind of add some adhesive to the back and tuck it around the edges. And you can certainly trim off the edges here. Then I'm just going to put some dimensionals on the back to have it pop up a little bit. Okay, so we'll turn that over and get it placed right in the middle. Hold that up a little. So the other two things I cut out just to see if I could add them somewhere were just some of these little wheat kind of looking plant shapes, and that is from the die that coordinates with the Celebrate Sunflowers. So there's two different sizes. So I thought now that I stamped this up a little bit higher, this would look kind of cute to add in right here. It's gonna look. All right, well, I'm gonna think on that a little bit. So we're just gonna leave that here. I didn't obviously plan that one in advance, so I just felt like it needed a little bit more something on the bottom since I ended up stamping up a little bit higher on that shape. So we're going to move on to, I'm going to do the little wreath that I have up in the left corner here. So this I'm going to need my silicone mat. So what I did was punch out a bunch of shapes using the Autumn Punch Pack from the Holiday Catalog. So these are cute little shapes, different leaves. Looks like a maple leaf and an oak leaf, and then a acorn. So these match perfectly. You can certainly just do them on regular cardstock, designer series paper, but the other designer series paper that it matches with is the Gilded Autumn paper. Again, I'm not focusing on that designer series paper today, but I just wanted to show you that all of these little leaves, so the oak leaf, the maple leaf, and the acorn, are matched in size with these punches. So you can punch those out. So you can punch out hundreds of leaves, hundreds of acorns if you wanted to use them on a scrapbook page or a card or a home decor project. So that's what I did for making this little wreath corner up here. So I'm going to do that now, and I will fast forward through most of it because it's going to take me a bit to put it together. But what I did was I cut out just a ring of cardstock, and I used 2 of the circle dies to make a wreath shape. Now you can do this with any of the circle dies. Just take 2 that are close in size to one another and cut them out in sequentially, and then you have a wreath, and then you can add whatever you want to the ring. So this works best with glue. So I'm using the Tombow liquid glue for this. And then what I did, it's a little messy and it takes a little time. So like I said, I'll fast forward through most of this probably. I just put some glue down kind of as a base. Left a little bit of a spot that I could hold on to it. And then here are all my little leaves that I had punched out. And I didn't actually even count how many I punched, but then what I did is I just started laying them on the wreath. Start with whatever direction you want, whatever color you want, kind of sort of do the same direction. If you get to a spot where you're not going to have enough glue, you're going to, like this, you're going to add a little bit more. And then I also punched out some of the little acorns. So what I did, I think I'll do is I'll kind of cover up this area where the 2, if you're kind of going in a layering effect, you can put one of the acorns there for sure to kind of cover that messiness up. I'm going to just set that aside for a minute, let it dry. I'm going to stick these 2 pieces together. I'm going to bring in, while that's drying, I'm going to bring in this title panel here. You certainly could put these extra leaves like right here. Also, like I said, adding as many details as you would like. Alright, so the other place to put maybe a acorn would be here. Maybe tuck them. Just hold that there for a second, let it dry a bit. Tack down. Okay, put that back. We'll bring this up off. The nice thing about the silicone sheet is the glue should not stick to it. See, it's a little tacky. That'll just peel off of there. So then to stick it down to the little panel, I'm just going to add more glue to the back side of the circle. Again, you could also use dimensionals, certainly. Next step is to place everything, adhere it all down to your page. So we're going to line everything up. And honestly, I always need to stand up when I'm lining some of these things up. There, you certainly could measure from the outside like 1/4 of an inch because there's going to be a part of it that will be covered by the frame. Or you can just kind of eyeball it, which that's kind of what I tend to do. So we'll start with this one. Again, I just kind of make sure there's an equal space along those two edges. Then you can always adjust the alignment on the inside. So that's all the layout, and then you just put it back in the frame. All right, there we go. So here are the two finished products. The one on the left was the sample I started out with at the beginning of the video, and the one on the right is the project we ended up completing during the video, adding in a few more details, a little bit more dimension, and just a few more pieces. I hope you enjoyed the project. Make sure you click on the next person's video and keep hopping along the different vlogs that we have created for you. And I hope you enjoy all of the different projects that we're creating this month with Designer Series paper. Please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you come back and hit the notification bell if you'd like to know when I post new videos. Thanks, and I hope you have a great day.